So yeah, I've just come back from being on holiday, which was amazing. But yeah, I got back to quite really fucked up news that the government's planning on introducing benefit cuts for disabled people, as if we could do less for disabled people. I'm laughing in horror, by the way. I get disability benefits and it doesn't cover the costs of what I need. Um, and I speak to customers day in and day out who are in poverty and disabled and really ill and can't work and or do work, but still nothing, it's not enough um, to cover what they need. And it's so fucking awful, and also like so disheartening, and also just knowing that I'm gonna have to face all these people that are already suffering so much in terms of like vulnerable people already experiencing crazy levels of poverty because of austerity, because of neoliberal capitalism, um, whereby essentially the mega rich siphon off public money for themselves. So yeah, 2% tax on the super wealthy people that earn over £10 million. That would raise 24 billion a year, for example. And tax avoidance in the UK costs the UK £33 billion a year, whereas attacking disabled people, one of the most marginalised people in the UK, that would save about 1 billion a year between 2025 and 2030. So yeah, it's seriously not needed, and it's just so typical. The whole like conversation about like making disabled people look negative and like scroungers and like we're lazy and like a lot of us are like making up stuff, and like it's all just done so that we fight each other and the most vulnerable for scraps essentially, whilst the super rich get away with murder and like murder of like thousands of people. So yeah, like, and also like causing so much, like think how much, so much suffering, taking away money that people need in order to reduce their suffering and their literal physical pain and their closeness to death, like, and they don't need it. That's what I can't compute about the super rich. Like, you do not need that type of wealth. What are you doing with that type of wealth? Please tell me. Who needs more than maximum, absolute maximum, £100,000 a year? What are you doing that isn't nefarious with over £100,000 a year? Seriously, I don't understand. Anyway, and then leave us poorer and poorer as a result, and less able to get like healthcare from the NHS. It's part of why the NHS. The main reason why the NHS is crumbling is because rich people are taking public money for themselves and putting it into private corporations, um, including with the health service. So yeah, that's why that there's no money in the NHS. It's because of rich people taking it away. Okay, so yeah, this is why so many people are suffering with the NHS, and now they're making this disability benefits even more shit, which I actually didn't think you could make them more shit. To be fair, the whole process is humiliating and degrading, and you don't really get what you need most of the time. I'm really lucky. I'm in Scotland, and my assessment and getting them was quite easy comparatively to when I was in England and tried to get PIP, and they made it so traumatizing and difficult that I gave up. They literally said on the phone when I was like, it's too inaccessible for me, I can't deal with this, and I'm not going to proceed this any longer. They were like, oh, can I just confirm that you're no longer getting, trying to get PIP, essentially, was what they said. And I was like, yeah, and they were like, okay, great, bye. Literally, like, literally. Um, yeah. Politicians don't know who they're messing with most of the time, do they? Like, I don't know, like the whole public is like a lot of people, do you know what I mean? People are so socially undervalued, but actually like we are powerful and we have moved like fucking mountains before and we will do it again. You know, there's been like such badass like activism from disabled people and neurodiverse people and undervalued people. It's just like, yeah, but it's so enraging. Like I've been so fucking angry. Been so angry. I've been so angry because this affects not only me but like family members, friends, like who are already suffering and struggling so much, and like are already poorer than other people because of the state not supporting them, because it's really expensive to be disabled. Like, it's like 12 grand more a year for us than everyone else, like on average, because we're disabled. Like, so we need fucking money. And like, a grand more than everyone else implies we need a grand more than everyone else. But I get less than that every month. It's just been cut, actually. So literally today I got home to a letter that was like, your disability benefits being reduced. So yeah, that really hit me in the stomach. I was like, relevant? How relevant? I've already been pissed at the end of my holiday. Every time I come back from holiday, obviously it's really difficult anyway, but I knew when I was coming back from holiday I was going to be hit with something. I just knew it. Yeah, yes. Let's never come back from holidays. Yeah. It's just so enraging on so many levels. And like, yeah, like I've done a lot of, as you guys know, like work on like, mad pride and disabled pride and autistic pride. And I know that like disabled people and neurodiverse people and mad people are like just as valuable as everyone else. And because our insights are rarer in terms of being appreciated by the mainstream, like they're actually like uniquely valuable and powerful. This is part of why the government and the main actors, like the main system, wants us to assimilate and all be the same and all be controllable and all be like so-called able-bodied and operate within a capitalist system and have the right mind, so-called, which is kind of the wrong mind, you could argue, to operate in a capitalist system with like just be compliant and not think for yourself and blah 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 blah. So yeah, so this is part of why disabled people and people that are mad or neurodivergent and or like different bodies and different minds are like demonized and terrorized and bullied and targeted. And I'm doing this, but they are, but it's just broad strokes, isn't it? But it does statistically happen more to us. And anyway, ableism and oppression exists and is emphasized under colonialism and capitalism in order to, this is what the system thrives on and exists on and cannot survive without oppression, right? So like eugenics was created to have like a certain type of person existing in like white supremacist like ideology, right? So that includes like a so-called able-bodied person and like a certain minded person that could function within the system as the fucking rich want you to, right? So like that's not necessarily like disabled and or mad and or like neurodiverse people. I'm just gonna call us disabled people. It's just to be easier, or cribs, which is like a radical positive way of referring to disabled people. Anyway, so like we represent the people that are like uncontrollable or that just naturally challenge the system by existing, and that's fucking great. And there's lots of indigenous cultures, not to romanticize them, but there's lots of indigenous cultures that would value disabled bodies and experiences and minds in ways that like a globalized Anglo culture does not. And those many of those cultures would view us as people with sacred, healing, important information. And yet like British culture, for example, like frames us as like, yeah, the worst thing ever. And it's just so enraging because like the amount of people that I talk to that think they're like the worst thing ever and like that they think they're like something to be ashamed of, and they're so ashamed of themselves because they're disabled. So enraging because like we are valuable, we are like super valuable. Content of suicide, like underneath some of these like Crips Against Cuts posts, like someone who's disabled and like really can only really function for like 2 to 3 hours today in terms of like conventional ways of functioning, was quite suicidal in this. And I just commented just being like, you are valuable, you are worthy, it is not your job to do this activism. Like people that have capacity, people that aren't disabled, whatever that fucking means, I guess it means they're privileged by society in terms of what is accessible, so on and so forth. But it's like technically we're probably all going to be disabled at one point, like if not now. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but like that is for us to do, the people that have capacity, the privileged people that aren't disabled, like, it's their fucking job to do the work. And if you can't do it because of your disabilities, like, your activism is existing. Like, and that's what I said to them. Like, you don't have to worry about doing activism in the stereotypical way. Like, your activism is existing and looking after your needs. You look after your needs. Like, you know, you are loved and well done. You know what I mean? And I just feel so angry. Like, I know just so many people that are suffering because they're not supported. And like, they're talking about like going back to work as a disabled person. Well, where is the, like, I mean, I'm quite lucky with mine because mine is really supportive of disabled and neurodiverse people. Most of the time, like, where the fuck is the, like, non-ableist workplaces where people can actually function and work for a living? Like, so many people I know are being bullied and harassed. Like, I know someone who is being forced to pick up like things that they have explained that they can't pick up because of disabilities, but they're being forced to do that, and they're damaging their back and then going to like a specialist to sort out their back and then keeping doing this, like, and the employer knows they're disabled and that they can't do this, and like, it seems like they can't. Yeah, obviously there's like technically a legal case there, but that's all really fucking hard and impossible as well. It's just like, I don't know, it's just so enraging. I mean, it's all enraging. It's just all enraging. I'm so angry about everything. And I'm smiling because it's so enraging. Not that it's funny. Thank you.